This film opens in ancient or prehistoric times, where at that time some animals preyed on each other. One of them is the snappers. The snappers are then shocked by the appearance of dinosaurs that make them flee to the sea. But suddenly the snappers turned back after seeing something very frightening in the sea, and it turned out that it was a megalodon that immediately attacked them. The scene then shifts to the present, where Jonas Taylor emerges from a shipping container on a ship sailing across the Philippine Sea. Taylor's presence here is to stop a group of men who dump toxic waste into the sea illegally. After collecting all the information on the ship, Taylor beat up the crew. But, because there were many of them, Taylor was forced to flee and jump into the sea. But, luckily then Taylor was rescued by Mac, and also Rigas by dragging Taylor using a plane. Meanwhile, at a marine institute in China, a man named Juming Zhang is testing an exosuit that is made to work underwater and can even survive at a depth of 20,000 meters from the sea surface. In addition, Juming is the uncle of Mei Ying, who is Suyin's daughter, while Suyin herself had died a few years ago. Even so, Mei Ying is not lonely, because now Taylor has become her adoptive father. They all then attended an event for the institute led by Juming's business partner, named Hilary Driscoll. In the event, Juming paid tribute to Suyin and also his father, and vowed to continue the marine-based research that had been built for a long time by his father. Juming then introduced Heike, a megalodon that he caught since he was a baby, and now Juming is doing various tests so that Heike can be trained. Meanwhile, Taylor noticed a man named Montes whose movements were suspicious among the visitors. In short, after the event was over, Juming tried to do a test where he used a device to emit a sound that would bring Heike closer and farther from him. But when Juming tried to distance Heike, somehow Heike did not respond and almost devoured Juming. Seeing Juming's behavior here that was very dangerous, Taylor warned that megalodons are still megalodons that are thirsty for blood. The next day, Taylor joined Juming, Mac, DJ, and Rigas to the research facility named Mana 1, where they would do a mission to explore the Mariana Trench. There, they met another analyst named Jess, who would monitor during the trip. In short, they then dived into the Mariana Trench using 2 submarines, where the first ship was filled by Juming, Curtis, and Sal, while the second ship was filled by Taylor, Rigas, and Lance. But, at that time, suddenly Mei Ying appeared on the second ship and admitted that she had hidden an hour ago. At the Institute facility, Heike somehow experienced an emotional surge. The Meg brutally broke through the exit and swam into the open sea without anyone knowing. When the crew was about to approach the thermal layer of the Mariana Trench, Mac, DJ, and Jess, who were at Mana 1, told Taylor that Heike had escaped and was now heading towards them. Fortunately, before Heike attacked them, they first entered the thermal layer and arrived at the point of the Mariana Trench. There, they met 2 megalodons, one of which was much larger than the other. Not only that, they also accidentally found an unknown underwater station that had much more advanced technology than them. It turned out that the station was operated by Montes, who was leading the mining of ancient mineral stones. But because Montes saw Taylor's arrival, he was forced to detonate a mine bomb that killed all his crew on the spot. The explosion also caused Taylor and Juming's submarines to be hit by rubble until they finally lost contact from Mana 1. Realizing Taylor was in danger, Mac asked Jess to prepare a rescue ship, but somehow, Jess informed that his submarine was badly damaged. At that time, Mac got a signal from Taylor, where Taylor asked Mac to pick him up. But Mac said that his submarine was broken and there was one of the crew who sabotaged this base secretly. Knowing that, Taylor had no other way but he had to go to the unknown underwater station to take his launcher pod. Taylor, Mei Ying, and others went using exosuits and headed to the station. On the way, they met Juming and his crew, who also survived. Meanwhile, Montes was still in his submarine reporting the incident to his boss, who turned out to be Juming's business partner, namely, Driscoll. Driscoll then ordered Montes to prevent Taylor's group from entering the station, because if they succeeded, their crimes would be exposed. On the way to the station, one of the members who was left behind, namely Lance, was suddenly attacked by a very mysterious large creature. Taylor concluded that it was not a megalodon, but they had to get to the station quickly. When they were about to arrive, Suddenly, a bunch of snappers came to try to attack them. It turned out that the snappers were still alive and hiding in the Mariana Trench for tens of millions of years. In the midst of that, the snappers left just like that. Apparently, they were afraid because there was a megalodon that came to attack them. In the attack, Sal was bitten by the megalodon, and when they arrived at the station, another crew member, namely Curtis, died due to her helmet breaking. The crew then began to look for electronic items at the station to find a way to ask for help to Mana 1. But what they found instead were ancient meteorite stones mined by Montes, where according to Juming, 1 kilo of the stone had a value of $1 billion. After searching, they finally found the launcher pod room. But at that time, the door suddenly locked, and not long after that, the monitor turned on and showed Jess who was monitoring them. It turned out that Jess was part of Driscoll's team who had betrayed them. Then, she released the pod they needed and ordered Regas to shoot Taylor so that Mei Ying could return. But unfortunately, Regas couldn't do it, which eventually trapped them in the room. At that time, Driscoll then spoke to Juming, revealing that he planned to steal Juming's technology for their operation to mine ancient stones in the Mariana Trench, because there was no other safe way. Taylor then dared to leave the station to look for a submarine in another room. He then swam to the hatch door across there, where Taylor was almost stabbed by the snappers. After entering the second room, Taylor was suddenly captured by Montes, who was already there. Montes revealed that he had a personal grudge with Taylor. Then they both got into a fight. But Taylor managed to defeat Montes. After that, Taylor opened the door that made Juming and the others safe. Taylor then took them to the pod that was used to get out of the Mariana Trench. But they were surprised by the destruction of the thermal cloud that allowed the animals in the Mariana Trench to escape to the open sea. Meanwhile, Montes, who was still alive, used a buoy to reach the surface. At Mana 1, Mac and DJ showed that they were sabotaged by Jess. At that time, Driscoll sent mercenaries to kill Mac and the other workers. When the two were about to be arrested, Mac and DJ resisted with pepper spray, then jumped into the sea to escape. But unfortunately, when they returned, they were captured by the mercenaries. Taylor finally arrived, then resisted the mercenaries to save Mac and DJ. Meanwhile, Monte surfaced and entered Mana 1 to meet Jess, who turned out to be Montes' girlfriend. And not long after that, 3 megalodons, including Heike, approached Mana 1. While Jess here video called with Driscoll and assured that she was behind the glass that was resistant to megalodon attacks. But who would have thought? One of the megalodons managed to pass through the glass and swallow Jess. This made Montes sad and very painful. Mana 1 station then began to flood, so Taylor and the others had to board a raft to escape. Some mercenaries then tried to chase Taylor, but before they shot Taylor, they were suddenly attacked by the megalodon. Then, Taylor and the other crew sailed to the island, while Taylor made a spear with explosives and poison to use against the megalodon. Meanwhile, on the island itself, the tourists looked very enjoy their holiday. Not only that, one man who was on the ship also took this moment to propose to his girlfriend. But when the man was distracted, he found that his girlfriend was missing. It turned out that his girlfriend had been taken by a giant octopus that came from the Mariana Trench. The giant octopus then sank the ship and ate all the passengers. When Taylor was about to arrive, the mercenaries had already arrived first, coming by helicopter. When Driscoll and her team were about to go to the beach, they were surprised by the attack of the snappers, who also managed to get out through the thermal cloud. Meanwhile, on the beach, Taylor tried to tell the visitors to stay away from the sea. But, instead of obeying, the visitors just giggled, until finally they became a delicious meal for the megalodon. Taylor then asked DJ and Regas to find a way to call for help, while he would lure the megalodon into the deep sea. On the other hand, Driscoll, who tried to hide in the heli, was found by the snappers. The snappers then dragged Driscoll into the bushes to be eaten. Mac and Juming entered the warehouse to look for explosives, but there they met 4 mercenaries. Meanwhile, DJ and Regas, who were looking for a signal instead, met the snappers and ran to the warehouse where Mac and Juming were being held at gunpoint. Luckily, Juming didn't lose his mind. He deliberately made DJ press the automatic door button, which finally made the soldiers attacked by the snappers. At that time, DJ got a signal. He immediately contacted and asked for help, then accidentally found a helicopter. But When they were about to fly it, the fuel ran out. Juming then quickly filled the heli's fuel, but at the same time the snappers came. Fortunately, Juming sprayed them with the fuel, then followed by Mac burning them by shooting with a rocket launcher. Meanwhile, the giant octopus arrived at the beach and began to prey on the visitors. Taylor, who was being hunted by the Megalodon, finally managed to kill one Megalodon by stabbing an explosive spear in its face. When Taylor chased the next Megalodon, suddenly Montes appeared, who made Taylor's explosive spear fall. On the other hand, Mac and Juming, who were evacuating Mei Ying to the helicopter, were suddenly caught by the giant octopus that made Juming fall, while Mac was thrown to the coral reef with his helicopter. Taylor then arrived at the pier while being chased by the Megalodon. After escaping from the Megalodon, Taylor faced Montes, who challenged him to fight. But before they could fight, Taylor kicked Montes into the water, which was then eaten by the Megalodon. Juming then tried to kill the giant octopus with explosives, but the resulting explosion was not enough to kill the giant octopus. Until finally, Heike came and attacked the giant octopus. After that, Juming approached the heli to save Mac. But at that time, Taylor saw the arrival of the last Megalodon. Taylor took a broken propeller to make a diversion, and when the Megalodon was about to eat Taylor, he directed the propeller to the Megalodon's mouth so that the Megalodon died and also sank. Taylor and the others went into the water to swim back to the mainland, but Heike began to approach them. Here, Juming took out his device to make Heike swim back and managed to make it really turn around. But Taylor said that actually Heike was chasing dolphins, not because of Juming. The three of them returned to the beach with Rigas. Juming suggested that Heike enter the cage because today is the mating season and she might be pregnant, and the film ended with them relaxing on the beach.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.